Let's dive into the session. So the session is on how to optimize your knowledge base for SEO. Let me give you a bit of an overview about what we're going to cover in this webinar. So we'll start up with the purpose of search engine optimization. Why are we doing it? And then we'll slowly dive into some of the SEO techniques. Then we'll slowly progress into how do you measure the impact of all the SEO techniques that you apply on your knowledge base, and some of the best practices. Some best practices will be shared as well. And then I'll also be sharing some tips and examples before we wrap up. So let's dive in. So what is search engine optimization? It is actually a practice to drive some organic traffic to your site. It could be your knowledge base or it could be your website as well. But the primary motivation is to drive organic traffic. The reason why we do that is because we want to be visible in the internet to all our users across the globe, such that they can actually find us through some search keywords they actually put in the search key box. So we enable the discovery of our own products, services through our website and make it available in front of our customers or the potential prospects we have. So that's the main purpose of doing SEO. And there is a classic joke in the SEO world where if you are on the second page, you are literally dead. Usually the top 3 clicks on the first page of your search engine results is where most of the clicks goes to. In fact, 96% of the clicks goes to the top 3 links in the first page of your search engine results. So it's very important that we go on the top of the page for the right set of keywords that we are actually targeting for. So that's the primary importance of why we do SEO. And more importantly, if you're performing SEO and you are appearing on the Google searches or any kind of search engine results quite often, it actually increases the brand visibility, and that can earn your customer trust. So if you're writing any articles or if you're putting together anything that comes from your own website, from your own company, it adds a lot more trust rather than coming from a third party writing about your products and services. So it's important to earn your customer trust, especially in this modern dynamic world. So SEO is a kind of a practice where you do a lot of optimization with your site such that it can rank higher in your search engine ranking. More importantly, it can drive that organic traffic to your knowledge base site without performing any kind of advertisements, for example, Google ads. So you actually know what kind of business you are in because your organization pretty much sells some kind of a product and services. But how will you know that what is the source of intent? What are the customer intent in terms of finding the right kind of products and services? So that's exactly where all this search engine comes in. Most of the search engines like Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo, they have something called search bar where you go and then you type in your search keyword. It could be a 1-word keyword or it could be a 2-word keyword. For example, I might be interested in product documentation, so I'll be typing the word product documentation in Google. So product documentation is 2-word. So that actually shows the customer intent. So that's exactly what the customer is looking for. So the more keywords there are in the search bar, which means the customer intent is extremely narrow and very focused. If I'm only looking for something like how to write inclusive documentation in Microsoft Word, so which means my search query is very long, but I am extremely focused on finding this right article for this long keywords. So the way to understand the customer intent is through the search keyword that they actually type in the search bar of your search engines. So let me give you an example. So if you go to Google and then let's say I type inclusive documentation, you see a bunch of results coming up, and the search query in this case, it's inclusive documentation, is the customer intent. So which means either they are trying to find the best practices in inclusive documentation, or they could be interested in writing how to write about inclusive documentation. So it's very important to understand the search query such that you can actually tailor your content to suit your customer intent. And the list of things that appears in your search engine is called SERP, the search engine results page, and that's usually have lots of pages. For example, in Google, as I said, it lists you like 10 to 15 links in the first page and go to the second page and so on. So that's the search engine results page. And the primary objective of performing SEO is that you come on top of the first page, at least in the top 3, such that you get that visibility, and you can also generate the right kind of traffic to your knowledge base site. One of the prominent way that we can actually look at knowledge base is most of the organization think that a knowledge base is only for product documentation, user manual, and writing standard operating procedures and putting together product documentation. In fact, if you think a little bit strategically, you can actually position your knowledge base as a marketing channel, so that you can actually drive right kind of traffic into your products and services, more importantly to your knowledge base, and from there they can actually go into your website as well. To give you an example, if I want to sell something, so obviously I need a point of sale machine. So I go to Google, and then you can actually see in the screenshot, I type sell in person. So you can immediately see help.shopify.com shows up in the first results. So you probably know that Shopify is in the business of enabling this e-commerce service, and they also do point of sale. So here you can actually clearly see Shopify is positioning their knowledge base for this search keyword, sell in person. The same thing go for some other products. For example, if I'm trying to set up a payment infrastructure or a payment gateway, which I have no idea about because I'm a small scale business, if I type something called a setup payment gateway, you can immediately see somebody's knowledge base pop up. In fact, they are actually selling the payment gateway services or products or APIs in general. So this is the amazing way, one of the crucial factor for a technical writer as well, such that they are not thinking about not just solving the customer problem through better documentation, but also positioning the knowledge base as a marketing channel to get more leads and then probably convert them into potential customers. So this is an amazing opportunity for knowledge base owners, admins, and more importantly, the technical writers, so such that they know what the customer intent are and then actually pitch their your knowledge base as a marketing channel. So this is one of the other amazing things about doing SEO on your knowledge base as well. So in terms of a knowledge base, there are a few basics we need to cover. The first, you just need to understand how the search engine or the search engine actually works, the crawlers and the bots, and a little bit about how the algorithm actually works, and then more importantly on the optimization technique and understanding the search intent of your customers. How do we do that? Let's delve into the first topic. If you look at how a search engine actually ranks your page in terms of whether you come on the first or the second or the third, most of the search engines, they have this bots. So these are programs or the scripts where they actually come and crawl your website or your knowledge base site. This small snippet of code comes and crawls what kind of HTML pages you have, what kind of JavaScript you have, and then how it's actually linked and where those pages are actually linked to. Those are the information a crawler usually gets, crawls, and then actually sends the information back to your search engine provider. And the search engine provider, based on some algorithm they have, they actually index them first, such that they are actually recorded, and they're also validated. And then after that, a search engine algorithm will actually rank those pages. Okay, whether for this kind of query, which are the relevant pages I should rank on the top. Again, different kind of search engines, they have their own algorithm. You probably know about Google. Their fantastic algorithm is called Pagerank, where it gives you importance to how many external links are actually going outwards and how many internal links actually coming inwards, and also gives you a lot more preference to how you write the content as well. And more importantly, on the right kind of keywords actually used. And this is very important because if you know the know-how of all the algorithms, then you know how to tweak the content to actually boost your ranking in your search engine results. So there are 3 techniques in SEO. The first technique is on-page SEO, where you try to optimize all the elements in your knowledge base article. So these are where you can pretty much control most of the things that goes on. So these are very crucial elements when you try to produce content, especially for a knowledge base article. The second technique is the technical SEO. This is how you manage your search engine bots to come and crawl your content and index it. For example, you might have some kind of a content where you don't want the crawler to index it because it could be your PPC landing page or an ad campaign page, which serves no purpose to Google at all. So those pages you can actually restrict the search engine crawlers to index. And the third technique is the off-page SEO, where you try to produce a lot of backlinks from your knowledge base, and also you have a lot of inbound internal linking of your knowledge base content, so that you can actually divert your customers to different kind of pages where they can actually, either it's a reference page or they can actually get more information about something. So it's very important as well. So let's dive into the first technique, which is the on-page SEO. So when you're producing a knowledge base and writing a knowledge base article, as I said before, the most important thing is you have to undertake a keyword research to understand your customer intent. And there are tools to do that. I will cover you those kind of tools in the subsequent slides. But doing a keyword research is extremely crucial so that you can actually tailor the knowledge base article for the right kind of intent your customer is actually looking for. In fact, if you try to go through the kind of keywords that your customers actually use and what kind of keywords gets to the right kind of article, then you can actually have some kind of an understanding about what your customers are actually looking for, what kind of information are they looking for. So it's very important to do that. The reason is, once you've done the keyword research, those keywords have to appear in your knowledge base article. Otherwise, it's a irrelevant content. So ensure that your keyword, your search keyword or the intent of your customers is actually appearing in the article a few times. There has to be a keyword density. Again, it's also at least to have keyword density of about 6 to 8 in the whole article for the same keyword. And your keyword should appear on H1 and H2 tags. That's very important for your keyword. The second point is, in terms of, you have to create a right kind of content hierarchy. When you draft an article, not everything should be start with H1. So you start with H1 and you have H2. Underneath that, you have a couple of H3s, and you have you come out of that section and you have a couple of H2s, and then so on. So if you create that kind of a good content hierarchy for your knowledge base article, Google or other search engines, they love this kind of structure. So which means there's good structure and there is flow of information through that structure. It's very important to create that kind of a content hierarchy for an article. Add the right kind of meta title and meta description. Again, I'll go into the little bit of detail in the later slides. A meta description is a snippet of a short description about what that page is all about, and meta title is the title of your knowledge base article. Usually, if you have an article, a title, maybe that can be also added as a meta title for your SEO purposes. Add all tags. Even though it's been introduced long back when we are in 2G and 3G network, it is still relevant that you add all tags to your knowledge base articles. Include diagrams, visuals, and images. Extremely important. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The more the pictures helps you to illustrate the content much better, and it actually improves the understanding of your knowledge base content. So it's very important to include diagrams. I know that some of the content might not have images, that's okay, but in many generic cases, including images is a good way, so then actually Google will rank you higher, because it knows that if it's a lost text-based content, it's a little bit of a boring content, or maybe the engagement is a lot lesser. But if you have images, you know that it has a lot of interactive components, so there is a more chance that it will actually rank you better. So to give you a highlight, here I'm actually giving you one of the example. If you're performing on-page SEO, the title of your knowledge base appears as shown in the Google results, and this title is usually referred as the meta title. And there is a snippet of the information that appears on the Google page results, Google search results, and that is called a meta description. And this meta title and meta description is something you can actually control. So when I type something called ticket deflector document 360, you immediately see ticket deflector document 360 appearing. So if the intent is to find how to configure ticket deflector in document 360, they immediately click on it. And the next link is accessing ticket deflector in the portal. So even though that doesn't have, it does have that search keyword, ticket deflector document 360, this appears as a second result. So it's very important that you write that meta title, because that's the one that your customer is going to read, and then decide whether that's the relevant thing for them or not. Maybe they also read the snippet to ensure that they're actually finding the right information. So it's very crucial that this meta title and meta description should be very concise and provide absolute clarity to your customers, so that you can actually then click on it and then you drive the organic traffic to your knowledge base. So here is the, for example, if you look at the page I've shown, and if you look at the source of that HTML page, this is how it looks like. So you can actually see that the meta name description, and then the content is whatever you want to put in there, that's there in the meta title. This is how it actually looks like. The other aspect, I've talked about meta title, meta description. The other one that's very crucial is also the slug, the article slug you have. So if your search keyword is also present in your article slug, the slug is usually comes after the domain, after some resourcing. Okay, that's the last part of your URL, the uniform resource locator. And if that contains the search keyword, it gives you a lot more confidence to your the search engine algorithms, that this page is talking about the things which the user actually typed for. Okay, so it's very important to make sure you tailor that article slug as well. All right, let me give you a quick demo. So here you see I'm in document 360, and you can actually see here, this is my slug. I'm just going to open it up, and you can actually see this. The slug is private hosting -1. Obviously, this is not a good slug because it contains numbers. So let me go and edit it. So I can go and then click on it, and I'm going to say private hosting for SaaS. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to set up an article redirection rules. Now I click on this. Now my slug, you can actually see private hosting SaaS. So that's the article slug right there. So in document 360, we actually have article settings. Underneath that, we have a specific kind of tool set for SEO. And by the way, when I'm talking about all this SEO, this only applies for a public knowledge base. If you're a private, probably this won't appeal. This is not relevant to you because your knowledge base is public. Google cannot come and index it. So let me give you a good title to this one. So this is private hosting. I'm talking about private hosting in SaaS environment. So that's the title I'm giving. So the slug, as I said, private hosting SaaS. I'm going to give a good description. Article talks about how to configure private hosting in SaaS. So there you go. So I write a title, I've changed the slug, I put in a good kind of article description, I click save. So then I talked about more important terms of the content kind of a structure. So you can actually see here, I've started up with H1 tag here. I'm trying to edit the article. So you can actually see here, this is a H1 tag. So this is the H2 tag. And I also have this as a H2 tag. And then the more I go, I have H2, and then probably I have a H3. And then you can actually see here, I've actually included a couple of images. This is a good kind of a content structure. So this is very well placed in terms of the content. So I'm going to hit publish, and I will show you view in the knowledge base site. So there you go. So this is my knowledge base site for private hosting. Now, if I click on view source, you can actually see here the meta description and then the meta title here as well. So all the information I've given is perfectly coming here. And then you also see the Slug here, private hosting SaaS, which is fantastic. That's exactly what I want, and the structure is perfect. So all right, let me move on to the slide deck. Okay, so that's about the on-page SEO. So you can actually see that Document 360 provides excellent kind of SEO tools to undertake your SEO practices, to add in your meta title, description, article slug, and also structure the content in an effective way using H1 to H6 tags, and also add appropriate kind of images and other links as well. So let me delve into the next topic, which is the technical SEO. So the technical SEO predominantly talks about your behavior, how you manage the crawler traffic, how the crawler actually comes and indexes your knowledge base site. So it is very crucial that you optimize your knowledge base for faster loading time, because these days a lot of people are on the mobile devices, so the page your knowledge base article has to load faster. If you got heavy content in your knowledge base article, then it loads a little bit slower. Obviously, the search engines, they don't like that. So in the technical SEO, you need to optimize your knowledge base article for a faster loading time. And there is something called robots.txt. That's the file that's available in your knowledge base site, where you can actually control what kind of things a search engine crawler or a bot comes and indexes it, what kind of pages it's allowed to index, and what kind of behavior it has to exhibit in on indexing your knowledge base site. And there's Sitemap that usually gives you the kind of a URLs present in your knowledge base, so that it's a structured content, and you can actually submit your sitemap to Google or any other search engine for indexing purposes if you are refreshing your knowledge base as well. And the technical SEO, there are other concepts about article redirection and broken links, which I will talk in the subsequent slides. So let's delve into the first concept, robots.txt. So this is the kind of a standard that Google actually introduced, where this is the file that's present in your root directory of your knowledge base site. Again, this is very technical in nature. If you're working with a content management system, obviously you have a lot more flexibility in terms of putting this information, and it is very technical in nature. Again, there are a lot of syntaxes available in Google Developer Docs. You can go and get the information from. I've put in an example where I've disallowed a bot to come and index this /docs/release as 2023, because this might have some release notes which is in the future. I don't want Google to come and index it right now, but I just want to have it. And the other important aspect I've shown you is the sitemap. Usually the sitemap contains a list of URLs. Okay, the other aspect in the technical SEO is the article redirection. So whenever you go and update an article, or you might archive an article, or you might delete an article in your knowledge base, it's very important to provide an article redirection. Otherwise, if you have shared that link with someone else and then that article is made obsolete, if someone clicks on the old link, obviously they'll get a famous 404 error. So it's, for a user experience perspective, it's very crucial that you redirect your old URL to a new URL. So in Document 360, we provide a feature called article redirection, where you can actually redirect your old articles to a new destination path. It's very easy to do. And it's very crucial to do that, because if you don't provide article redirection and if it ends up in 404 error, guess what? Most of the search engines, they will penalize you for that behavior. The reason is it impacts the user experience. If your knowledge base article contains a lot of broken links, or your knowledge base has a lot of internal broken links as well, Google thinks that this page might have worse customer experience, or this page cannot be trusted. So it's very important to place article redirection, and more importantly, check for the broken links periodically and fix them. Let me do a live demo. So in Document 360, if you go into settings, and if you go into knowledge base site and you click article settings and SEO, and you go into SEO, you can actually see we actually provide you kind of a flexibility to edit your robots.txt. If you click on it, it actually shows you, and you can actually look at Google syntax, and you can actually add what kind of behaviors you want. And we also provide you sitemap. As I said, sitemap contains a list of URLs present in your site, and there you go. You can actually see that, and this is very structured kind of way that you can actually submit to any kind of search engine where they can actually come and index it. And we also provided one more functionality whereby if your content is changing very rapidly, if you're updating a lot of documents very frequently, you can actually put a schedule so that this sitemap can be updated every week or every hour or daily or yearly, depending upon your business requirement. And Document 360 will take care of generating the sitemap automatically for you. In terms of article redirection, as I said, you can create a new redirect. Say I want to redirect from docs v1 private hosting. If it comes from that link, if I want to go into the same kind of a structure, but I'm just moved from private hosting to, let's say, private hosting SaaS. So you can do that. So anytime when somebody hits this URL, obviously it gets redirected to this URL where your new article is present. And as I mentioned earlier, the broken links are also very crucial. In Document 360, we provide a feature called link status, where it actually goes and crawls all your external links and internal links and actually tells you how many of them are broken. So if I click on the broken one, it actually lists you the list of broken links. Then you can actually go and fix them as well. The off-page SEO, this is usually the trick most of the SEO people do, which is called backlinking. You should provide backlinks from any external party to your knowledge base article, and also you also have to provide external links. It's very important, as said, most of the PageRank algorithm works on how many external article links you have. It actually helps you with boosting the ranking. Again, when you create a knowledge base article, ensure that you reference something either internally or externally. It's not mandatory, but having more kind of links helps you with better search engine ranking. And as a technical writer, you have to do this on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO. And how are you bringing this SEO practice as part of your documentation workflow? It's very important, since as a technical content writer, you are producing content right now. You have additional responsibility of performing this SEO. Usually SEO is actually offloaded to a marketing team. But having said that, as a content writer, if you have good skills on the SEO, it actually helps your company, your organization in a long term. So the practice you need to bring it in as part of your documentation workflow is that include SEO as part of your process. So you draft the content, obviously you'll send for peer review, probably can go for an approval process, then SEO has to be part of that workflow. And empower, upskill. As a technical writer, you need to upskill on how you write this meta description, meta title. Upskill yourself. As a content writer, it's very important. And if you bring in that practice into your workflow, then it makes your job extremely easy to push in the content. Let me give you another example again. So here in Document 360, we have workflow designer. So if I do that, obviously you can actually see I've designed my workflow such that first one, I draft the content, then it goes for an editorial review, and then it goes for SEO, and then after that it might go for a approval process, then it gets published. So the way we do that is we go into a document, and let's say for this article, I edit some content, probably I add a bunch of new content to it. Okay, this is for demo, and then now I can go and change my status. So you can actually here, it can go for a editorial review. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go into SEO process. Then I can actually assign an owner. In this case, I'm going to assign myself, and I'm going to notify Selva. Okay, hey, add SEO title and description, target this article for search keyword private hosting as, and then I can assign it to someone, and they can actually perform this SEO process. And once it's approved, then you can actually take it live. Okay, let me go. Okay, talking about tools. Tools are extremely important if you're trying to do SEO. And the common tools that's used, Google Search Console gives you the list of keywords that your customer actually typed in the Google search, and then what kind of pages that has been shown, and what kind of impressions it actually shown. I mean, when it actually gets listed, it shows an impression, and how many clicks people actually done on that particular page for that particular keyword as well. So it's extremely useful tool. Second is the Google Analytics. So it actually helps you to gauge how the user engagement, how much time they actually spend, what's the bounce rate, what kind of customer behavior actually happened, how are they actually navigating your knowledge base site, that you can actually get it from Google Analytics. SEMrush and Moz are mostly for your market research. What's the search volume for this particular keyword around the globe, or for a particular region? You can do that using SEMrush and Moz. Broken link checker and headings, content hierarchy. I'm giving you a couple of links. That is also a very good tool to go in as well. As I said, for a Google Search Console, this is where it actually lists you all the keywords that your customer actually typed for which your page actually appeared, and what kind of position that it actually appeared. It actually gives you whether it's appearing top number 1 or 3 or 25 or whatever. You can actually tweak your article. So if you want to be placed at number 1 or number 2, you kind of know for the search keyword what is the other pages appearing on that. Okay, what are they actually doing it better than you? How are they actually targeting? Those kind of analysis you have to do, and then you come back and to your drawing desk and then look at your knowledge base article. What are the elements I have to add? Should I put more kind of a content, or should I need to tweak my meta description or the meta title, or should I add more images? Those are the analysis you have to do. Again, once you have done that, you can submit your sitemap and ask Google to come and index it, and then wait for it to index it, and then probably might appear on the top of the Google search result page. The second is the Google Analytics, as I've shown some screenshots of one of the site, where if you look at it, you can look at the search volume, you can look at how many return new users you've got, how many sessions they've got, what's the bounce rate, how much time they actually spent on your knowledge base article, and you can actually go dig deeper. It gives you high level insights into your behavioral flow, your geography, and your demographics. And you can map your customer journey. It's very crucial to actually understand the customer journey, so that you know what kind of external links you have to do and what kind of internal links you have to do, so that you can actually tailor kind of a customer experience for your customers. So how will you measure your success? As I said, the measurement of success is, am I ranking on the top, on the first page of the search engine results? Has my average page ranking increased over a period of time? How is my traffic coming from the search engine, organic traffic from the search engine page actually increasing over a period of time? Okay. So these are the 3 crucial elements. If you look at it, this can be quantified. There can be a number, and your managers can actually set targets, and you can actually tweak the content to meet that target. As I said, understand the why, purpose, and then set your success measures accordingly. So coming back to a few best practices and tricks, ensure you write the meta title very concise and precise. Very crucial. As I said, that's the first kind of a thing that your customers will actually see. So it has to be concise. The meta description, it has to be well within 100 and 160 characters in length. More than that, probably Google might truncate it, or if you see it in your mobile phone device, it might not appear properly. So restrict between 100 and 160 characters, and ensure your page size is below 500 KB. Again, if you put a lot of images and videos and things like that, obviously your page size is a little bit more. Okay, the lean you keep it, obviously the page time is quicker. Use the image size as minimum as possible for as long as it serves good quality. Okay, again, use PNG and JPEG format. Ensure you write the article slug in a more customer-centric way and in a human-readable way. The other aspect is, again, the broken links. You need to periodically check for broken links in your knowledge base and ensure you actually fix that for good customer experience. Refresh your sitemap often and also submit to Google, depending upon how frequently you update your content. Again, the search keyword must be part of your article title, description, meta title, and then also present in H1 and H2 tags. Okay, and more importantly, link your knowledge base in internal blogs. More importantly, on the external partner site. The more external links to your knowledge base have, the more ranking it actually gets, because it gets more traffic from the other side as well, and you're increasing the visibility of your knowledge base. Again, some of the advanced tips is ensuring the good readability of your content. Again, if you're writing for a technical audience, it might be tricky, but if you're writing for a generic kind of a layperson terms, obviously you're appealing to a lot more customers. That content hierarchy matters across your knowledge base. Again, the way you actually structure your whole knowledge base also matters in terms of how your customers are going to find and navigate. Again, it's more also importantly for the algorithms to come and crawl your content as well.